situation. But hopefully, things are moving forward. Great work, Jill. And of course, the last thing people in flood-prone areas want to hear is that their houses should not have been built there in the first place.
That's right, but it is the first thing you need to hear if you're buying a house. Well, Jill's rounded up some expert advice that might save you some serious grief.
So you want to buy a house? Well, no doubt you're used to prices being too high, but now there are warnings to watch out for land that's too low. This climate expert warns the recent storms will rock our already shaky property market even more.
We've already got a housing crisis as it is, and this event is going to reduce the supply of houses, certainly in the short to medium term.
You see, so much of our housing stock lies on floodplains.
For every one house that's at risk at the coast, we've got 10 houses in floodplains inland.
There are 55,000 on floodplains in Auckland alone, so what to consider?
Historically, we've looked at things like weather tightness and asbestos issues, but of course now we're going to want to know if there's been some water ingress or flooding on the land.
You can find that out by getting a LIM report from the council. Make sure it's fully up to date and make sure you read it, because that will tell you
where the storm drains are located. It will also show overland flow path areas. Having a building report and a building inspector on site is also really important. Visit the property during a downpour so you can see and track where the water is running.
And remember, the real estate agent has a legal obligation.
They have to identify potential issues and make potential buyers aware of those potential issues.
And if you're trying to sell,
if they have had an issue of flooding, they can, yes, disclose it, but then show what they've done to mediate and mitigate that. So show the engineering works that they've done, show how it's changed the risk to flooding going forward.
Because the risk is very real.
We've had a couple of billion-dollar events in the last month. We should expect to continue to see them at least once a year.
It needs to be on top of purchasers' minds. It's certainly something that we'll be advising more rigorously on going forward.
There's some big conversations coming up in the next wee while.